Cacao is known for elevating mood, boosting learning and memory, and it's a potent neuroprotectant. Cacao beans are the seed of the fruit of Theobroma cacao tree. Chocolate improves the brain function. The cacao and dark chocolate contain high concentrations of polyphenolic compounds called flavonols. These flavonols, especially epicatechin and proanthocyanins, act as potent antioxidants. Cacao flavonols provide numerous health and nootropic benefits, including boosting cerebral blood flow, blood vessel elasticity, and reduce blood pressure. And cacao is a strong anti-inflammatory. It stimulates the release of several major neurotransmitters, resulting in improved mood while boosting learning and memory. Cacao is anti-aging. It helps to prevent neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, and it reduces the risk of diabetes by decreasing insulin resistance. It's the natural source of chocolate, but what you might not realize is a lot of what you call chocolate has very little cacao content at all. Cacao stimulates the release of phenylethylamine, or PEA, and this boosts focus and awareness, and anandamide, the bliss molecule, which helps you to feel good. Cacao is a source of tryptophan, which is a precursor to serotonin, and theobromine, which boosts blood flow. It's a stimulant, and it may account for chocolate's aphrodisiac qualities. Studies show consumption of flavanol-rich cocoa drinks increase blood flow for up to 2 hours in certain regions of the brain, improving cognition, memory, and preventing neurodegeneration. Cacao beans are one of the richest sources of antioxidants around, reducing free radicals that would normally cause oxidative damage in your brain and your body. Native to Central and South America, cocoa residues have been found in Olmec vessels found near Mexico dating back to 1750 BC. Aztec Emperor Montezuma loved cocoa, calling it a divine drink, which builds up resistance and fights fatigue. A cup of this precious drink permits a man to walk for a whole day without food. Cacao beans were brought to Spain by the first European settlers in the 1500s. As a nootropic, cacao offers a host of brain benefits. It's a source of tryptophan, anandamide, phenylethylamine, theobromine, magnesium, caffeine, vitamins, minerals, flavonoids, and it's a prebiotic. It boosts cerebral blood flow, endorphins, learning, memory, focus, reduces free radical damage, suppresses cortisol, and reduces stress. In fact, chocolate consumption leads to better cognition. One study found the countries with the highest chocolate consumption produced the greatest number of Nobel laureates. Cacao and cocoa are not the same thing. They're both chocolate and they start from the same place, but how they're processed makes all the difference in their benefits. Chocolate in all forms starts with Theobroma cacao tree. The seed pods are harvested from the tree, they're cracked open, and there's around 30 to 40 beans inside. These beans are then placed in piles or bins, often seeded with microbial bacteria, and left to ferment for up to 7 days. This fermentation process is a key for developing the characteristic chocolate flavor. After fermentation, the cacao beans are dried, cleaned, and the cocoa nibs are removed from the shells. Cocoa refers to cocoa that's been roasted. All cocoa is roasted at varying degrees to enhance the distinct chocolate flavor and to kill pathogens and bacteria. There's no such thing as raw cocoa, no matter what marketing tries to tell you. Anything heated above 104 degrees Fahrenheit begins to lose its nutritional value, but the cocoa fermentation itself can heat up to 120 degrees. The key is cocoa roasted at the lowest possible heat, but still maintaining most of cocoa's nutritional value. Dutch pressed cocoa, or dark cocoa, is the cocoa powder that's been processed using an alkalinizing agent like potassium carbonate to give it a darker color and a milder taste. This is the form of cocoa that's often used in ice cream, hot chocolate, baking and chocolate bars. Research has shown natural cocoa powder that's minimally processed contains the highest total antioxidant capacity. Milk chocolate contains the least amount of cocoa solids and has the lowest antioxidant capacity and pro-anthocyanidin levels. The alkalization process used in Dutch processed cocoa also has far less pro-anthocyanidin content. Shells are removed from the cocoa nibs using a winnowing machine. Some of the nibs are packaged and sold as are. Since the cocoa nibs come directly from the cocoa tree, they contain the highest level of the flavonols, and they provide the most nootropic benefits. Most cocoa nibs are ground into the chocolate liquor, which is then processed into chocolate by mixing cocoa butter, sugar, and other flavorings and emulsifiers. One study surveyed a broad range of chocolate, the cocoa-containing products marketed across the US. The study included 3 or 4 of the top-selling products within the categories: natural cocoa powder, unsweetened baking chocolate, dark chocolate, semi-sweet baking chips, milk chocolate, and chocolate syrup. Researchers tested the percentage fat, percentage non-fat cocoa solids, antioxidant level by the ORAC, total polyphenol, epicatechin, catechin, total monomers, and flavanol 3 oligomers and polymers. The study found a 5-fold variation on the epicatechin and catechin between the products, in decreasing order: cocoa powder, baking chocolate, dark chocolate baking chips, milk chocolate, and chocolate syrup, meaning the cocoa powder provided the most nootropic benefit and chocolate syrup the least. Cacao stimulates the release of endorphins in the brain. It contains tyrosine, which is a precursor to dopamine, and tryptophan, which is a precursor to serotonin, all neurotransmitters contributing to mood. Researchers at the Neuroscience Institute in San Diego found that chocolate blocks the breakdown of anandamide, which helps to increase happiness levels. The flavonoids in cacao cross the blood-brain barrier, and they accumulate in the hippocampus, an area of the brain involved in learning and memory. Scientists believe flavonols directly interact with cellular cascades, yielding expression of proteins that promote neurogenesis, neuronal function, and brain connectivity. And flavonols improve cerebral blood flow and the creation of new blood vessels, or angiogenesis, which provides long-term protective effects on cognition and behavior. It also contains caffeine, which in low doses can improve memory, mood, and concentration. The University of Oslo team conducted a cross-sectional study with 2,841 people to examine the relation between the intake of flavonoids from chocolate, wine, and tea and cognitive performance. The researchers found the subjects who consumed more chocolate, wine, and tea, all 3 had higher cognitive test scores than those who didn't. The scientists concluded the intake of these foods and cognition was dose-dependent, with the maximum effect for chocolate and wine. The study's authors said a diet high in some flavonoid-rich foods is associated with better performance in several cognitive abilities in a dose-dependent manner. They also pointed out dark chocolate contains a greater amount of flavonoids per servings than tea or red wine. This increases blood flow to grey matter in the brain, reducing the risk of dementia and a stroke. Most of us don't get the phytonutrients from our food that our body and our brain needs every day. These nutrients contribute to neurotransmitter release, better blood flow, and neuroprotection. One of the main nutrient functions is preventing oxidative damage from free radicals. A deficiency in antioxidants contributes to chronic inflammation, accelerated aging, high cholesterol and triglycerides, increased belly fat, insulin resistance, mitochondrial insufficiency and dysfunction, and neurodegeneration. Cacao is one of the most potent antioxidants available. It has more antioxidant activity than the majority of nootropics that fight free radicals. Most of us love chocolate because it tastes great and we love the way that it makes us feel. And minimally processed chocolate is one of the best nootropics that anyone can easily find. Cacao is a source of tryptophan, the precursor to the neurotransmitter serotonin, and this puts us in a good mood. Cacao stimulates the release of phenylethylamine, or PEA, which in turn releases norepinephrine and dopamine, producing the euphoric effect often associated with a runner's high. It also boosts the release of anandamide, which is known as the bliss molecule. Flavanol-rich cacao improves blood flow to the brain, and this boosts oxygen and nutrient delivery to brain cells, resulting in better memory and processing speed. Cacao contains more antioxidants than other superfruits, including acai, blueberry, tea, and pomegranate. The cacao helps to relieve stress by suppressing the release of cortisol and providing a substantial amount of magnesium, which improves memory loss, focus, mood, and sleep. Dark chocolate reduces your craving for sweet, salty, and fatty foods, and chocolate loves bifidobacterium, which makes it a great probiotic. Research has found seniors who ate more dark chocolate were less likely to develop dementia. Minimally processed cocoa releases a potent amount of endorphins, which can leave you feeling euphoric. Cacao contains phenylethylamine, or PEA, and this converts to tyrosine, which then converts to dopamine, fueling your brain's pleasure and reward system. The magnesium in the cacao relaxes you, and the epicatechin boosts the blood flow, which means you can go faster and further. More oxygen to the muscles allows you to make the most of whatever it is you love to do. The cocoa stimulates the release of anandamide, serotonin, and phenylethylamine, all neurotransmitters that can boost your mood. It's easy to get excited about the health benefits of chocolate. We often see headlines about the latest chocolate discovery. But here's the thing, the studies investigating the links between chocolate and the great health are not using the type of chocolate that you find at the checkout in the supermarket. It's easily lost in translation or a sneaky attempt to sell more magazines, but these scientists are using cocoa and not highly processed chocolate. Minimally processed cacao tastes great, so keep in mind you won't get the nootropic benefits you'd expect from cocoa with a box of chocolates. Cacao flavonoids and their metabolites cross the blood-brain barrier, and they go into areas of the brain crucial for learning and memory, including the hippocampus, the cerebral cortex, the cerebellum, and the striatum. Research shows the cacao flavonoid directly interacts with a signaling cascade that's crucial for triggering gene expression and protein synthesis for long-term potentiation, which is critical for long-term memory formation. Cacao flavonols have been shown to significantly increase cerebral blood flow, providing neuroprotection and boosting the glucose and oxygen needed to power the energy-hungry mitochondria. A study published in Frontiers in Nutrition analyzed dozens of cacao flavanol studies on cognition and concluded that results are primarily dose-dependent, with the best results from long-term daily use. The team concluded the evidence to date shows cacao flavanols help to boost general cognition, attention, processing speed, and memory. A 2012 study examined the immediate and the long-term effects of cacao polyphenols on cognition and mood. In this randomized, double-blind study, 72 healthy, middle-aged participants received a dark chocolate drink mix containing 500 mg, 250 mg, or 0 mg of polyphenols once a day for 30 days. The participants were tested at the beginning of the study and at 1, 2.5, and 4 hours after a single dose, and again after receiving 30 days of treatment. The researchers concluded that a high dose of the cacao polyphenols improved calmness and contentedness. A study in France followed 1,367 subjects over 65 years of age for 5 years to determine if flavonoid intake influenced neuroprotection. The team concluded that the intake of the antioxidant flavonoids is inversely related to the risk of dementia. Another double-blind study on cocoa, cognition and aging found 90 subjects with mild cognitive impairment had significantly better cognitive function, including verbal test scores, after consuming cacao flavonols for 8 weeks. The study confirmed earlier reports that those who consumed higher doses of cacao flavonols did better than those who used less. And many experts are now saying that Alzheimer's disease is really type 3 diabetes, because insulin deficiency and insulin resistance is behind Alzheimer's type neurodegeneration. A trial with 15 healthy subjects were assigned to consume 100 grams of dark chocolate containing about 500 milligrams of polyphenols, or 90 grams of white chocolate which doesn't contain the polyphenols, for 15 days. The researchers concluded that dark but not white chocolate decreases blood pressure and it improves insulin sensitivity in healthy people. The recommended dose of cacao flavonols for cognitive benefit is 500 to 1000 milligrams per day. The challenge is figuring out the flavanol level in the cocoa or the dark chocolate that you're buying. A few manufacturers declare the flavanol amount in milligrams per capsule or dose on the ingredient list. Cocoa nibs and cocoa powder are the purest and they contain the highest level of flavonols, but pure cocoa tends to be bitter, so look for capsules if you can't stand the taste of dark chocolate or cocoa. Milk negates the advantage of eating chocolate because it interferes with the absorption of the antioxidants in the chocolate. Cocoa and dark chocolate may cause acne, heartburn, and gastroesophageal reflux. The phenylethylamine in the chocolate can cause migraines in some people. Weight gain is a concern when consuming solid dark chocolate. Cocoa is a stimulant, so avoid taking it later in the day if you don't want it to interfere with sleep. Some drugs may increase the effects of caffeine present in the cocoa because they decrease the metabolism or the clearance of caffeine, including drugs like estrogens, fluconazole, mexataline, oral contraceptives, and quinolone antibiotics. Cocoa may increase the risk of adverse reactions when you use clozapine because it inhibits this drug's metabolism. 1.5 ounces or more of raw cocoa with MAOIs or other antidepressant medications may cause hypertensive crisis or lead to serotonin syndrome. The oxalic acid in cocoa inhibits the absorption of calcium in the body, so larger amounts of cocoa could cause problems for those prone to kidney stones or other calcium absorption issues. When selecting a cocoa or dark chocolate supplement, the higher the percentage of cocoa, the better. Raw or minimally processed cocoa powder is the best, with dark chocolate containing a minimum of 80% cocoa a close second. Cacao is especially helpful for boosting cerebral blood flow, providing more energy along with a boost in learning and memory. The flavonols in cocoa will put you in a better mood, and you may find the dark chocolate works great as an aphrodisiac. Long-term use of cocoa as a nootropic supplement has shown to help to prevent neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. You can safely take up to 1,500 milligrams of cacao flavonols per day, dosed earlier in the day because cocoa can act as a stimulant. Absorption of cacao is greatly reduced when it's consumed with dairy, so forget about mixing the cocoa powder into a drink with milk if you want to experience the brain-boosting benefits. For more information about herbs, supplements, and natural treatment plans, check out my website.